Okay, what we're going to do today is we're going to have a look at making a colour wheel. Now, the colour wheel that we're doing is relatively complex. It goes beyond your three primary colours of yellow, red and blue. Although it does obviously have those colours in it. So you'll see here yellow, red and blue. Now in between these colours you have your secondary colours, which are your orange, your green and your purple, and then your tertiary colours, which are your yellow orange, yellow green, blue purple, and red orange. Now what we want you to understand from this lesson is not only the colour wheel, but also how to mix your colours. So I'm just going to turn the page here and I'm going to place a colour wheel. We've given you colour wheel templates because we think it's a better use of your time to spend learning how to mix your colours rather than how to actually map out a colour wheel. So we've given you a template and all you need to do is just trace around the outside edge, and then using a ruler you can make out the segments through the page of your sketchbook and then just rule those out. Once you've done that, you can take the colour wheel out from underneath the page, the previous page, and you can have it in front of you to help you mix your colours. Now, we have added in a layer of difficulty to this task in order to get you to understand about colour mixing and blending. So that's my colour wheel, nice and light, because if you use your lead pencil too heavily, then when you come to put your colour on, it will pick up that lead and it will make those colours look a little bit muddy. So I've got my colour wheel next to me, and my first box that I'm going to do is red. So I'm just going to take my red pencil and, working from the top to the bottom, I'm going to colour those in, and I'm going to do that with my three primaries. Okay, so I put my three primary colours in exactly in the same place that they're placed on the colour wheel, just here. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to mix these colours together. You're going to get through your pencils quite quickly, so have a sharpener to hand or have, you know, a couple of different reds. Now, I'm going to start off with a red orange. Now, sorry, I'm going to start off with my secondary colours, and so I'm going to start off with the orange. Now, the reason why I'm starting off with the orange is because this is a sort of 50-50 mix of the red and the yellow, okay? Now, you don't want to go too heavy too quick. So what I'm going to start off by doing is taking my red pencil and using it much more lightly than I have done on my primary sections. I'm going to put a little coverage of red over the top of this. Now, I could use an orange pencil, but if I use an orange pencil, then I'm missing out on an opportunity to understand and to learn how to mix my colours together, and also to consolidate that knowledge that the red and the yellow primary colours, when mixed together, will give you an orange. Now, I also want you to notice that I'm taking real care to make sure that I stay within the lines of this colour wheel, keeping my work neat and really caring about and taking time with the way that my work is presented and making sure that I really have that quality in there. Right, so I've put on my layer of red. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow now, and I'm going to bring that yellow over the top. Now, you should be able to see almost immediately that that starts going to an orangey hue. Okay, so I'm going to mix that over the top. And then once I've put this coverage of yellow on, then it's a little bit of backwards and forwards. And when you mix your colours like this, you get a much more interesting colour. It's not a flat orange. It has these, you know, some flecks of red in it. It's got flecks of yellow in it. And it just visually just looks a lot more interesting than having just an orange pencil covering that section. So I'm going to go back with my red now. working over the top of that yellow, really encouraging those two colours to mix nicely together. I also think it's not often known that you can actually colour mix with pencil. I think people are so used to just selecting the colour that they want, they don't actually realise that they do blend together really nicely. And then back with my yellow. And now I'm just going to work across my colour wheel, and I'm okay, now at this point I'm going to do the purple. Now the purple is always a very difficult pigment to work with because the blue and the red, just they don't ever really blend together that effectively, or at least not as well as the other colours do. So don't be disappointed with how your purple looks. It will be the same for everybody. It is just one of those things that it just doesn't quite mixed together as well as we would like. I do have a little bit of leeway with this one, whereby if you are mixing it and it's really not working, then I don't mind if you take a purple pencil and just work a little bit of it over the surface, just to give it a slightly more purpley tone. Okay, so that's my secondary colours marked in. So now I'm going to look for my tertiaries, and I'm going to start to map those in. So my first one is a red-orange. Okay, so this indicates that there's going to be more red in this than there is yellow. The orange is going to be leaning more towards the orange side than the yellow side. So I'm actually going to put my red down first, and I'm going to go a little bit heavier, not as heavy as I did when I put in the primary colour just here, and not as light as I did when I put in the secondary colour just here. I'm just going to go somewhere in between those two. So I've got good coverage, I've got a nice red in there. It's a relatively strong colour, but it's not too strong. I'm going to take my yellow and I'm going to bring my yellow over the top. I'm going to use my yellow again quite firmly to get the orange, and then once I have the orange, then I can go back over with my red and just making sure that that orange is definitely on the redder side. And then I'm just going to take my red and just another little coat over the top, just making that red the dominant colour. Okay, and now what I'm going to do while I'm working on my yellows is I'm just going to move down to this box here, and we're going to try a yellow orange. So for this one I'm going to go with my red again as my first colour, but obviously as you can see straight away I'm keeping that much lighter. A very light coverage. We just want a little hint of the orange whilst keeping it mainly yellow. Now with my yellow I want to come in quite heavy. My pencils are running out a little. And there we go, with a nice yellow orange. And at this point you might look at it and think, well, I'm not quite sure that that's got the difference in that I'm looking for. So if that's the case, you can just do a little bit of tweaking. I kind of feel like this one here could definitely be more of that sort of pure orange colour. Just a little bit of yellow going in there. And then, oops, try not to get too heavy. Okay, so that's how you create your colour wheel using your 3 primary colours.